תפתח ופי יגיד תפילתך. Oh God, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory.
Now, Dina, you're on.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We've made it past the High Holy Days. I hope you were as impressed as I was with the services. We have a lot of thank yous tonight for all the hard work on the services. But before I do that, I want to welcome Cantor Jaffe up there with his guitar. Ray will be out for a few weeks. As many of you know, he had surgery on his knee yesterday, so he'll be out for a few weeks. Fortunately, Cantor plays the guitar, so he will be well accompanied. We're very happy to have him, and we look forward to when we can actually meet him in person. Many, many thanks to our hardworking staff, volunteers, and all the participants in our High Holiday services. Rabbi put together an absolutely amazing service in these difficult times. The services were so creative, inclusionary, and participatory. Many thanks to Rabbi Mark, Cantor Ariel, Phil, who integrated all the video parts into the stream so beautifully and seamlessly, to David Youngman, who was in the sanctuary, to our many readers. Oh,
Perfection.
Sorry about that. I was getting my notes. I wanted to be sure to thank all of our many readers and interpreters for the Devar Torahs for the various services. For Rosh Hashanah, Tyler Porter and Joe and Sharon Gorin. For Yom Kippur, Harley Rockoff and Dr. Bob Harris and Matthew Hom. They all did absolutely fabulous jobs in interpreting the Torah and the Haftorah. However, we certainly look forward to next year when, God willing, we can all be back in our sanctuary. But all things considered, the services were wonderful. They were well attended, and I know I thoroughly enjoyed them. And I'm sure from the feedback I got that you all did as well. I want to remind you that our High Holy Day appeal is continuing. We have raised $25,000 so far. Our goal is $36,000. I know we can reach it. When you know we always need the funds, so please contribute what you can. As well, we are continuing our Drive Up food drive. This Sunday will be the last day to contribute. From 1 to 3 on Sunday, just drive up, and our masked and friendly volunteers will cheerfully take your food, and they will go to the Interfaith Food Center next week. We thank you for that very much. I also want to remind you of our simple fundraisers, the virtual flowers. The flowers tonight are sponsored by Havara Simcha in the hopes that we'll all be together soon. In addition, it's a simple $18 donation to have a Shabbat greeting shown during services. It's pure fundraiser, $18, pure profit. So please support this simple fundraiser as well. I also want to thank the members of Sisterhood who put up the indoor sukkah on our bima as they do every year. I think it's particularly beautiful this year. So thank you very much. And I wish you again a Shabbat Shalom. Keep safe, please. Wash your hands, wear your masks, stay distant, and we hope to be together soon. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very much, Dina, for those wonderful words of welcoming, and thank you for your thoughts and reflections on both our past holidays and tonight as well. And yes, this evening we are welcoming our new cantor, Cantor Cantor Jaffe, who will be with us, and we introduce him to our community this very evening. You will have a chance to learn more about Cantor Ken later on in our service. But as you heard, we have some special congregational greetings, and so we are grateful to the Havara Simcha group for their support of our congregation, as well as Harry and Victoria Jacobs and Allegra Gordon. Harry is a member of our temple board, and we thank all of you for your continued support of Temple Beth Or during these COVID-19 days. And as you heard, our Havara Simcha group is sponsoring our flowers this evening. You will see them in the lower corner of your screen. Thank you very much for your support of our congregation and for the Chidur mitzvah of making our services a little more beautiful with these virtual flowers. Thank you very, very much. And so we begin our worship service. We are young, our experience is few. We are older, veterans of life's teachings. We have endured great adversity. We have been untouched by tragedy. We are married, we are single, we are of many varied traditions. We are different from one another, and yet we are one. Having traveled different roads, our separate journeys have led us all to this sacred space in our lives. As united by tradition and by faith, we raise our voices in celebration as in song, as we welcome this Shabbat with singing of words from Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena. May the rest and quiet of this hour of worship refresh our inner life and renew our sense of holiness. Fill our hearts with Shabbat peace and with serenity, that we may hear the voice of our innermost soul and be moved to build our lives on the abiding foundations of all that is holy. That is what Shabbat must be for us. Not to tear the world apart, not to wrestle with time, but to let warmth and care and light come forth from deep within ourselves. These candles that we are about to kindle represent our setting aside this holy time. Their light illumines our innermost selves. Their brightness is a reminder of our constant hope.
להדליק נר של שבת ושל יום טוב.
Indeed, it is a Shabbat and a Yom Tov this evening. Not only a Yom Tov for our congregation as we welcome Cantor Jaffe to our community, but it is as well a Yom Tov because tonight is the first night of the holiday of Sukkot. We have the emblems of Sukkot here, and we will have a chance to shake them later on in our worship service. Our Lulav and our Etrog together to celebrate the holiday of Sukkot, which celebrates the first fruits. Well, not the first fruits, really, but the fall harvest. And as we would celebrate the fall harvest and the bounty of the end of summer and the beginning of fall and the richness of the earth's produce on this very night, we welcome as well the richness and the produce of our new Cantor Kenneth Jaffe. Grateful to have you with us, Ken, and grateful to share the bima with you.
It's so wonderful to be here.
Great.
And share with you. Thank you.
We will continue with the words of our Kaddish, celebrating Shabbat and Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kiddashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat v'shel Yom Tov.
Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Speaking and listening are both endangered activities in our culture. There is so much information exchanged each and every day and each hour that it is hard to pay attention to our speech. Are we saying what we really need to say? Are we speaking from the heart? Do we know when not to speak? And as for listening, who can hear anything amid all the noise around us these days? There is such a flood of messages coming in. How can we discern which are truly important or even holy? In prayer, we speak from the heart. It does not matter if we are sure who is listening, if we don't understand how prayer is supposed to work, if we're not even certain we believe in prayer at all. For moments at a time, we can set our questions aside and just say what we need to say. What a relief to be able to speak as loudly as we want or as softly, without worrying about being understood, without anticipating the other's response. Jewish practice gives us rich ways to speak and to listen. When we need to speak to God, when we are too filled with joy or with despair to hear anything but what is in our heart, then it is time to pray. We continue with the words of our Baruch Hu, our call to worship.
Baruch Hu et Adonai ha-Mevorach.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chokhma potech she'arim. Uvitvonam shanei itim umachalif et hazmanim. Umsader et hakochavim. B'mishmaroteham barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi layla umavdil ben yom uvein layla. Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam. Tamid yimlo chalenu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Let us imagine a world without color, without regal red or leafy green, a world that bores the eye with gray. Praise to you, God, for you are the colors in the rainbows, for eyes that are made for seeing and for beauty that is its own excuse for being. Let us imagine a world without sound, a world where deathly silence covers the earth like a shroud. Praise to you, God, for words that speak to our minds, for songs that lift our spirits, and for all those souls who know how to listen. Let us imagine a world without order, where no one can predict the length of the day or the flow of the tide. Imagine a universe where planets leave their orbits and soar like meteors through the heavens, and where the law of gravity is repealed at random. Praise to you, God, for the marvelous order of nature, from stars in the sky to particles in the atom. Let us imagine a world without love, a world in which the human spirit, incapable of caring, is locked in the prison of the self. Praise to you, God, for the capacity to feel happiness in another's happiness and pain in another's pain. As the universe whispers of a oneness beyond all that is, so the love in the human heart calls on people everywhere to unite in pursuit of those ideals that make us human. As we sing of one God, we rejoice in the wonder of the universe, and we pray for that day when all humanity will see themselves as one.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malechuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarata bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Looking back from where we have come, the path is at times an open road of joy, and at others a steep and bitter track of stones and pain. How could we know the joy without the suffering? How could we endure the suffering but that we are warmed and carried on the breast of God? We are God's children, created in God's image, made for love and laughter, caring and sharing. I am filled with hope for the future, in spite of much to the contrary. The world is becoming a kinder and safer place. It is God's world. God's gift of goodness and kindness, reason and understanding, science and discovery are all showered upon us. Revel in these gifts. Enjoy them. Share them. And the world will become a highway of peace and prosperity for all.
As we continue with Mi Chamocha, you'll be hearing a melody which is one of the emblematic melodies that we sing on this holiday of Sukkot, and it is the melody that accompanies the waving of the Lulav, which as you can see from Rabbi's Amud, that he has those there, and this is when we wave the Lulav and Etrog in the Na'anuim melody. Mi chamocha b'haelim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, malchutecha rovanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, ze liyanu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
Unfortunately, in the days of COVID-19, I cannot pass this over to you, Cantor. So smell from afar.
But the week is a holiday, is a whole week. A holiday is a whole week long, so
That's right.
I'll get the chance. Thank you.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace. But teach us that peace means more than quiet. Remind us that if we are to be at peace at night, we must take heed how we live by day. Grant us the peace that comes from honest dealing, so that no fear of discovery will haunt our sleep. Rid us of resentments and hatreds that rob us of the peace we crave. Liberate us from enslaving habits that disturb us and give us no rest. May we inflict no pain, bring no shame, and seek no profit from another's loss. May we so live that we can face the whole world with serenity. May we feel no remorse at night for what we have done during the day. O God, may we lay down in peace tonight and awaken tomorrow to a richer and a fuller life. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Let us invoke our ancestors, both the spiritual and genetic, for we are the sole reason for their existence. Let us invoke the children and their children, for they are the sole reason for our existence. Let us invoke the mountains and the rivers and this great earth, and acknowledge our intimacy and our codependency with all things sentient and insentient on this planet. Let us reflect and remember that the gift of life is more fragile than the dewdrops on the tips of the morning grasses. And then let us vow and let us promise. Let us vow to heal and to nourish. Let us promise to love and to share. Let us vow to alleviate suffering and bondage. Let us promise to manifest peace and joy with wisdom and with compassion. We continue with the words of our tefillah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufia giteilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen,
Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah, Rab lehoshia, Morid hatal. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim bedofeh holim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh. Thank you.
A Cherokee elder was once sitting with his grandson, talking about life. The grandfather said, "There are two wolves fighting inside me all the time. The good wolf fights for love, honesty, and compassion. The bad wolf fights for hatred and jealousy and greed." As he spoke and reflected on life, his grandson's eyes grew larger and larger. "Grandfather," he asked, "which wolf will win?" The elder paused for a moment and then finally said, "The one I feed."
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leholam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leholam. Ki ata hu melech Adon לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Just as we pray for shalom, wholeness, and peace for our very troubled planet, so too do we want to include those whose shalom, whose sense of peace and well-being and wholeness has been disturbed, perhaps even shattered, by the challenges they are facing, challenges to their health, their bodies, and their minds. I begin with a special prayer for our caregivers. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the Eternal One who blesses all life bless and strengthen all of us who struggle against illness. May we whose lives are touched by illness be blessed with faith, courage, love, and caring. May we experience the support and the sustenance of family, friends, companions, and community. May we be granted restful nights and days of comfort. We pray for a refuah shlema, precious moments of healing, and a sense of wholeness in body and in soul. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through the medical skills and knowledge be blessed with insight, with patience, and with compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope, and let us all say, Amen. I invite you to share aloud the name of a loved one who is in need of just such prayer during the musical interlude between the paragraphs. Baruch atah Adonai rofei hacholim. We praise you, O God, who helps us bring hope and healing to those who are in need. And let us all say, Amen.
Mishaberach avotenu mekor haberacha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor haberacha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you very much, Cantor Ken. My apologies for our technical difficulty on the slides for the Mishaberach. As we welcome this holiday of Sukkot, which acknowledges the bountiful harvest, the fruits of the earth that we used to gather in preparation for winter, the food that would sustain us during those winter months. It was the harvest, not the grocery stores thousands of years ago, that sustained us through the cold, rainy winter months. And it was the fall harvest that we would begin celebrating with the holiday of Sukkot, that we would note the bountiful harvest and sing praises to God and to nature and to good fortune, rains at the right time, sun at the right time, heat at the right time, that would enable us to harvest the produce of the land and would sustain us through the winter. Well, we have here in our sanctuary our indoor sukkah. Thank you very much, members of Sisterhood, for building us a beautiful sukkah, even with lights. This is terrific. We have our Lulav and our Etrog, absolutely bringing the fruit of the leafy tree, the fruit of the palm tree, the fruit of the willow, these branches that comprise the Lulav, and the fruit of the goodly tree, the Etrog, But on this particular Shabbat, as we welcome the holiday of Sukkot, we have the opportunity to welcome another bountiful harvest in our midst, and that is the skills and talents of our cantor, Cantor Jaffe, whom we now turn to this evening to learn a little bit more. Normally, when we have a new cantor come on board, we have the opportunity for a nice mingling, a little interaction, handshaking, yes, kissing of cheeks, yes, all those things we're not supposed to do right now. And so we will have to make do in this virtual space with our opportunity to be able to learn a little bit more about Cantor Ken. You've had a chance to hear his voice, his beautiful cantorial voice. You've had a chance to see and hear his wonderful guitar playing. We are truly blessed with such talent, and I am grateful to the members of our Cantorial Search Committee, chaired by Sharon Kravitz, to our board, to all who were involved in our search for our new cantor. And I am grateful to be able to share the pulpit this evening with Cantor Cantor Jaffe, to whom I now turn as he has a chance to share with us a little bit about him. And so we might feel this opportunity to learn from him more about him and his family. Cantor Ken, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Rabbi Mark. And again, Shabbat Shalom, everyone, and thank you so much for making me feel so welcome, even as it's just October 2nd, the second day of my now being the cantor here at Temple Beth Or, and I already feel part of the family. So I want to thank you, Rabbi Mark, and President Dina, and Sharon, and everybody who's welcomed me with open arms. It's been very touching. I also want to say how very grateful I am for the precedent that your wonderful cantorial soloist, Ariel Goldfarb, has set. She so beautifully and lovingly has led you, and I so much enjoyed listening to her sing the High Holy Day services this year. I was a congregant listening in, and she very much obviously understands the value of community and connection, and that is a great gift that she leaves for me, that I get to fill a big space that she has created, and so I'm very much looking forward to that. And so this is a time though of change. It's alluded to in our Sukkot scroll, the scroll of Kohelet, Ecclesiastes. This book actually is pretty somber in its tone, and given that its connection is to the main harvest, it reflects this life and death situation mode that the ancient Israelites felt at this time of year. Was the harvest going to be good? Was the harvest not going to be good? And so there was always a sense of trepidation. And because of that, the book of Kohelet is very philosophic. We hear the words from scribe to King Solomon. We hear some of the words saying that there's a time for everything, and every purpose under heaven. There's a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to build up, a time to break down, a time to zoom, and a time to refrain from zooming. Actually, no, that didn't happen, but I'm sure if it was, they'd have that in there. But I wanted to, with this sense of change, not just in the air, but physically here, I'm so excited to be on this bima this evening and being with all of you, I know, through the ether of the internet. And I'd like to sing a beautiful song for you, and I'm guessing many of you do know this. It's not by a Jewish composer, it's by some guy named Pete Seeger. And so, to everything turn, turn, turn. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to fulfill every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time maybe to embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to soul, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. And so we have this time of change, and honestly, we don't know what's going to happen with this change. Similarly, we're all experiencing that here at TBO, at Temple Beth Or. We know change is rarely something that's easy for people. It even can unnerve the most unflappable of us. But I, for one, I try my best to embrace this change. I grew up outside of New York City in Connecticut, in Fairfield County, with my parents and my two brothers, and I lived a wonderful, beautiful, idyllic life growing up there in a wonderful town with great education and lots of arts. And I remembered being very much involved in singing even back then. And eventually, I kind of looked at it and I realized, what should I do with my life? And it seemed like singing was going to be a big part of that. So what did I do? I studied singing at college, went to conservatory, and I studied what other but opera. And I thought that was going to be my path. I always felt that I always wanted to just wend my way down this river of life, and what seemed to come natural, I would just take that path. It was very much row, row, row your boat scenario for me. But then things changed. I left conservatory and I moved to what other place? New York City, right? Right, of course. And I was working to get roles in opera, and I was starting to get a feel of, okay, what does this career in opera feel like? And I found it sadly lacking. I felt that those connections that I wanted to have between myself and the people I was singing for, it just fell flat. Once the curtain was down, there's no more connection. And so I looked for something different. And I remembered 3 or 4 years out, I was a choir singer in a high holy day choir. I'd been doing that for a number of years. And I was at Temple Road of Shalom, a beautiful, big, magnificent synagogue on the Upper East Side. And I remembered being amongst about maybe 7 or 8 other professional singers. And when it came to the service, I was the only Jew up there in this choir loft. And all you could hear really was just this angelic choir singing from above. And we would just come out with our lofty sounds. But it was so interesting, even though that everybody around was very respectful, I was the only person trying to pray during those services. And I made a promise to myself that High Holy Days, I said, I'm never going to do this again. I don't care what I'm going to do. I want to sing. I have to be involved much more in my Judaism. And very soon after that, I got called to become part of a number of different choirs that would accompany some of these great Orthodox cantors. And I got a taste of cantorial music very, very late in my life. I never heard it growing up. And I just was blown away. And I knew then I had to change everything. And so within 2 or 3 months, I made a change. I applied for Hebrew Union College. And in the spring of that, the next year, I find out, umpteen months later on, I was accepted to the program, and lo and behold, I'm on a plane to Jerusalem to start my first year of Cantorial school, and the rest is history. And since then, it's been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. The connections I've made throughout my career I treasure so much, and now I'm looking forward to making more beautiful connections here and to sharing with you and learning about all of you and sharing about myself as well. So I know, but still it's hard. You don't know me yet. I don't know you. But this is going to be one of those getting to know you moments. I won't sing. So we know that change is not easy. And sometimes we often lose sight of the fact that this journey of life that we're on isn't always easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. Sometimes we complain that this happened to me and this happened to me. Why is this happening to me? But when we're really honest with ourselves, I think we all know that it's not about how easy the journey is, but how rich that journey is. And sometimes it's not easy. I think of the story of Abraham when he got called by God. And God didn't say to him, Abraham, I want you to go to a lot. I've got this wonderful timeshare. You're going to go there. You're going to have a wonderful time. He didn't say that. He didn't say you're going to have a wonderful time. He just said, go. And Abraham listened, and he went. He didn't have an easy journey. It was fraught with difficulties. He had battles. He had many different trials and tests. And yet, I think at the end of the day, we all know that he wouldn't have traded that in for the world. And so we know that life is going to be giving us opportunities and losses. But I, for one, am so happy to have this opportunity given to me by all of you and by God to serve this beautiful community and to grow with you and to learn with you and that we are all on this journey together, individually and collectively. And I'm just very, very excited to be here and so much looking forward to getting to know all of you. Shabbat Shalom.
Wonderful, Cantor. Absolutely terrific. And in addition, we should say that you and our accompanist, Dr. Ray Irwin, share a connection to a school.
Oh, yes. We are both graduates of Oberlin College Conservatory. And so when I saw that on his CV, I was very excited. And we have yet to work together. But we know we're thinking actually of Ray right now as he just had a knee replacement surgery, and we're missing him. So I'm very much looking forward to in a few weeks when he's back and we can really get into our new partnership.
Get into the groove. Absolutely. Cantor Ken, I am honored to share the Bema with you and to welcome you to Temple Beth Or as a pulpit partner. I've so appreciated our conversations in the past couple of weeks as we have been talking about the change that is afoot. I am grateful for your skills and your talents, and I know that we are going to have a great time together with you. Our students will have a chance to get to know you a little bit better on Sunday and on Wednesday during Hebrew Lab. So we are truly grateful to welcome you to your congregation, your Temple Beth Or. We are grateful to have you as a cantor. Yes, change is sometimes awkward. Change can be sometimes difficult. But you know, change brings with it a number of new opportunities. And that's how I see this. This is an opportunity for us to learn even more. Even tonight, some of you may have noticed, oh, he did that a little differently. Oh, he did that a little differently. That's what comes with change. We have the opportunity to learn new things. We are never too old to learn new things. And so, Cantor, welcome to Temple Beth Or. Grateful to have you with us.
Grateful to be here. Thank you.
Terrific. This is the first Friday in the month of October. Hard to believe that it's already October. So we want to note wonderful events taking place during this month, in particular anniversaries and birthdays, but hey, all happy events. Welcoming a new cantor, burning your mortgage, or paying it off, hopefully, before you burn it, the final car payment, beginning school, or getting out of quarantine if you have been subjected to COVID-19, as some of our college students have. So whatever happy event we are celebrating this month, we want to acknowledge those anniversaries that are occurring this month. We have Ricky Steen and Melissa Rudolph celebrating an anniversary, Michael and Diane Globerman, Sean and Sharon Kaplowitz-Payden, Peter and Sandra Gelmini, Mikhail and Tina Sneward, Harry and Victoria Jacobs, and James and Georgette Lilly. Happy anniversary to you all this month. And birthdays happening this month. Neely Miller, Heather Kaplan, Rabbi Dr. Lawrence Goldmark, our Rabbi Emeritus. Happy birthday to you. Florence Bornstein, Barry Lakin, Brian Gamberg, Miranda Mayernick, Ted Levoot, Myra Ford, Joseph Tejas, Laura Block, Ella Mayernick, Anita Rosenblum, Harley Rockoff, Margaret Mills, Dana Porter, Lena Aguirre, Irene Krieger, Gabrielle Sensor, Ralph Rudd, Maya Eskenazi, Rabbi Kenneth Milhander, Susan Schaefer, Scott Zwern, Raphael Eskenazi, Joe Gorin, Molly Shartoff, Sharon Koenig, Mikael Sneward, anniversary and a birthday, Stan Nathanson, and Marcia Bronstein. Wow. Wonderful. Hope we haven't missed anybody. If we did, my sincerest of apologies. Please let us know so that we can include you in our birthday greetings for next October. Cantor, is this month your birthday by chance? I haven't had a chance to ask.
No, my brother's turning 60, though.
Oh, okay. So Cantor's brother is celebrating a birthday. We'll include him in our blessings as well.
Hopefully, maybe he's listening. I don't know.
For all of these wonderful occasions, I invite you to join with our cantor in the singing of our prayer of gratitude, our Shehechianu blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechayanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechayanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
To all of our anniversary and our birthday people this month, for all who are celebrating a happy occasion during this month, Mazel Tov to you all. We move to the conclusion of our worship service with the words of our adoration, the Aleinu.
Aleinu עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגוד עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, those who live on in our hearts and our memories and in the place we call Olam Haba, the world to come. We call to mind those for whom we are observing the Shiva and Shloshim period: Elvira Amirez, the aunt of Sergio Sanchez Guzman; Marvin J. Gilman, the uncle of Brad Kramer; and Robert Weber, the brother of Marlene Fink. And Sergio, Brad, and Marlene, our hearts go out to you in the immediacy of the death of these family members of yours. To their names we link the names of those for whom we are observing Yartzeit, the anniversaries of their death having occurred during this past week: Richard Grossman, Linda Popovich, Ralph Koizem, Celia Lowenstein, Joseph Wolf, Catherine O. Salisbury, Harry Falk, Carl Porter, Michael Dubovy, Rose Schlossberg, Edward Gerwich, Dawn Marie Gasser, Stanley Kramer, Erwin J. Paskus, Rachel Stone, Herman Altman, and Anne Rosenstein. And to those names we link the names of those for whom we are observing the Kaddish period: Adrian Henschel, Murray Gimbel, Margaret Hershkowitz, Dr. Gerhard Paskus, Jerry Robinson, Lillian Meisler de Salandis, Rebecca Lomelli, Dwayne Craven, Edith Wins, Cynthia Algra, Gloria Delatorre Wyckoff, Agnes Fuchs, Edward Weil, Nat Krotinger, David Post, Adam Marcus, Wilma Davis, Waldo Mantell, Tyler Jason Gordon, Celia Atun, Rose Hemleben, Benjamin Lustig, Miriam Spanner, Victoria Torres, Roland Berger, David Zimmerman, Cleavon Steve Dyson, Harry Bass, Martha Manriquez, Enid Malkin, Phyllis Ryback Diamond, and Marvin First. If there's a loved one whom you are remembering, I invite you to share that name aloud at this time. To those that we have named aloud and to those that we keep named in the quiet places of our hearts and memories, we link as well the names and memories of the men and women of our armed forces who have given their lives for our liberties and our freedoms, those who have given their lives for our safety here at home, members of our police, our firefighters, and other first responders, and the members of the Israeli Defense Forces who have given their lives for the hope of peace, as well as, sadly, in our own nation, the over 206,000 citizens and residents of our country who have died from this COVID-19. Those who have died as well at the hands of violence, from those who have sworn to protect them and for those who care nothing about the life of others. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. As we share together the words of our Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba. Be'alma divra chirete v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shemei dekudasha berichu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru amen.
Amen.
May all of us who mourn and all of us who are bereaved, may we find through God's eternal presence a source of strength, courage, and hope. Above all, a source of shalom, of peace. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen.
We conclude this evening with the singing of words familiar to us, melodies actually created by our very own Cantor. This one is our opportunity to get introduced to new music. Hey, change, it's in the air. The days are growing shorter, the leaves are turning. The temperature is hot, but don't worry, it'll cool down next week. And so, Ein Kelohenu, but this one written by Cantor Kenneth Jaffe. Ein Kelohenu.
And let me just sing the first verse twice, just so you get a feeling for the melody. It has two sections to it, but it's a pretty easy melody. Many of you will even be able to pick it up towards the end. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein kemakenu, ein kemoshienu. So let's start from the beginning, and the next verse is a little different, but you'll hear it. It comes back to the same melody. Ein kelohenu, ein kadonenu, ein kemakenu, ein kemoshienu. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Chemakeinu, mi Chemoshienu. Nodel Eloheinu, nodel Adonenu, nodel Chemakeinu, nodel Moshienu. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu.
Wonderful, Cantor. Wonderful. Absolutely a wonderful, joyous melody for this holiday of Sukkot that we welcome for welcoming our new Cantor, Cantor Kenneth Jaffe. We thank you all very much for joining us here from Temple Beth Or in La Mirada, California, and wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. Have a safe weekend. Wear your masks. Wash your hands. Don't panic. Stay safe. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.